Your Life authors here as they launch their anthology. And for Northbrae, this is, I think, a special treat because it really is in sync with how we understand spirituality in this place. And I know many of you are visitors. Welcome to you. It's wonderful to have you here. So just to give you a sense of kind of the core value of Northbrae, it's based in an understanding that spirituality is inclusive. And so we have torchbearer windows that point to religious leaders, philosophers, scientists, people invested in social justice, and there's a sense in which part of our identity is tied to the reality that all of those people inform who we are as spiritual beings. And we also have a tradition, in keeping with that, of sacred stories that are incorporated into our Sunday service. And that is where individuals from the congregation or friends from other places speak about their own lives and bring the nitty-gritty part of what it is to be human from their perspective. And it feels to me that that's what we're going to hear this morning, is we're going to hear parts of stories written by people who will speak their own words. And as they share their stories, the invitation to all of us is to be able to open our hearts and our spirits to the wisdom, to the challenge, to the empathy, to the sympathy, to the insights that come as other people share their journey through life. And so we begin with a place of gratitude and welcome all of you. And now Elizabeth will give you more details.
Good morning. Good to see you all. And some very wise person said, Elizabeth, are you going to recommend people turn their cell phones off? So before we start, that's a reminder, and many thanks to Guy for that. All right. Parker Palmer, a wise Quaker, once described the soul as a shy, timid beastie who hides in the woods waiting till it's safe to come out. Our Right for Your Life group has been just such a place where our minds and hearts and souls have been able to take risks. Beginning in September 2018, Right for Your Life has been meeting for almost 7 years. It has accompanied us through the COVID pandemic, wars in Ukraine and the Middle East, and the loss of a loved one who was part of our group, Northbrae Embers, who died in February, and we have dedicated the anthology to her. Over time, to quote Peggy Newgarten, the group has changed from strangers to friends with a very special bond of openness and trust. Our group has had 25 participants in all, with an average of 10 people per session, meeting every second and fourth Wednesday of the month. Each meeting begins with a poem, which amounts to over 170 poems since we began. The poem is offered as a spark for whatever may arise within us. It is not there to be critiqued, but to be a companion on our journey. After the poem is read twice, we've written for a half hour, after which we have come back together to share our writing with inner and outer critics banished from the room. Right for Your Life has helped us unravel stories coming from our wise inner self, known by many as the soul, divine spark, or inner teacher. And for many, this has been a very deep, rewarding experience. For example, Ruth Cattell says, I write because bringing parts of my life into the light, sharing them, and listening to others helps to create a new sense of myself, the possibility of a different way of being in the world. Northbrae Ember said, this group has become a personal healing space and a soft landing community to explore the chapters and seasons of my life. Writing together has been for us a spiritual practice. Sharing our writing has created a circle of trust, and deep listening has enabled our stories to be heard and affirmed. This morning, Right for Your Life members will share selections of our writing, and if you're so inclined, and it's not necessary, please hold any applause until the end of the service. Our anthology, just published, will be available in the parlor after the service, and its cover was designed by one of our members, Patty Zerlip. And in case you don't know, the stained glass windows were designed by another member, Judy North, who designed them when she was 17 years old. She's not 17 today, but we're glad that she is still affiliated with the church, and we walk in every day and give thanks for these windows. It's been an honor to travel the past 7 years with kindred spirits as we've created a circle of trust, and we now invite you to travel with us. Life is a journey. Let me return to where the veil is thin, where I hear sounds resonating with my heart's deepest self. The loon's call reverberating across the lake, the waves' rhythmic touch against the shore, the rain tapping on the tent, echoed by the blue heron far away. It is to these places where I'm called to listen and rest, not with reason, intellect, or plans, but with a wild yet mystic's calm heart, knowing deep within that all is one. Life is a journey from birth to death, and we are all pilgrims. We feel its call in our body, our heart, our soul. We may not know where we're destined, nor when we'll hear, "You are home." Perhaps the journey is home.
We have woven music into the service, and at this point we would like to invite you all to stand if you're able, and we'll sing the hymn that is printed in your program. Give yourselves to love. So please stand if you are able.
There's something I would say, that what we together here has blessed us all today. Love has made a circle that holds us all inside. Where strangers are as family, and loneliness can't hide. You must give yourself to love, if love is what you're after. Open up your hearts to the tears and laughter, and give yourself to love. Give yourself to love. Love is born in fire, is planted like a seed. Love can give you everything, but it gives you what you need. Love comes when you're ready. Love comes when you're afraid. It will be your greatest teacher, the best friend you have made. You must give yourself to love, if love is what you're after. Open up your hearts to the tears and laughter, and give yourself to love. Give yourself to love.
You may be seated.
Our call to worship this morning will be Ruth Gattel's poem, Hope, found in your program. Ruth will lead us with the congregation responding responsively with the verses in italics. So all of us will respond to Ruth, reading the verses in italics. Ruth.
tall. Who would have guessed?
Hope sometimes can't be seen, disappears. Some plants do die, some survive.
Hope can be the small seed, the small voice. Maybe I'll be okay.
Hope can be huge, jubilant. I'm here. I'm alive.
When hope is shared, it grows. Grows for each person, grows community.
A bit surprised, I find I'm not alone. Voices say, you are okay. We can do this. And this poem was written in response to the wildfire in Paradise, which burned 12 camellias in Ruth's backyard. Our reading celebrated the first camellia that came back. It felt like a miracle, a hope of things to come.
Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
Good morning everyone. My name is Guy Berenbaum, and I'm going to read you Swing Life. After decades of cooking, I decided that I'll be writing. It's not easier, but I do write. I walked on a beach, climbed dunes. The sea is calm and biting. I tried to reach the other side, far away, where the blue, the white, the red saw me born. My eyes are blurred. My imaginary boat is stuck on a shore. I wave, and I hope someone waves back. Nothing. I want to send a message of warmth, saying, don't worry, I'm well. I didn't forget about you. Perch on a dune, I breathe nostalgia. My youth, my first kite, my first balloon flying high, so high it's almost invisible. The sea is calm. Sends me a message of well-being. Birds fly low to tease me, to scare me. I stand up straight. I'm not going anywhere. Here is where I live. Between clouds, rains, and the blues. The blues from the past. Blues from the present. From the dune, I think about my culture. I dance with you. I flirt with you. Here I am on a beach, opposite you. I know you are asleep by now. I hope that my scraping on my notebook won't wake you. It's getting cold, windy. I had to go. I'll write to you soon, very soon, my friends. Don't ask about me. Don't worry about me. I'm still swinging between two cultures. I'm glad of my choice. On the dune, two flags blow in the wind.
This piece is a response to May We Raise Children Who Love Unloved Things by Nicolette Sauter. My two kids loved exploring, playing, and hiking in nature. We lived in Berkeley, and I wanted my kids to have the experience of being in nature that I had had, and hopefully immerse themselves in it, playing in the water or playing in the dirt and getting very dirty. Luckily, our apartment was near Live Oak Park in Berkeley, where we could have access to water piped into the sand, where they could sit and play by a nearby creek, where they could wade. Scott loved making endless ditches and ponds, driving his toy trucks on them, while Lori loved making leaf cups and designs with leaves and sticks. Once, when Scott was an infant riding in my backpack, we walked along MLK, then called Grove Street. I stopped at a hedge, pulled off a leaf, handed it to Scott, and said, "Leaf, Scotty." And he felt it and made approving, burbling noises when the owner of the house came out and angrily told me not to touch her hedge. Some people have no appreciation for teaching children. On a field trip, I took my third graders on the earthquake walk at Point Reyes and gave each kid a bay leaf to inspect and smell and take home for spaghetti and stews. A ranger came by and asked me to drop the bay leaves because they were supposed to compost the park. After she left, I made sure each kid got a baggie with a bay leaf or two. We loved backpacking as a family, often joined by other friends. Lori was 5 when she came on our May Lake trip to Yosemite, 7,000 or 8,000 feet up in the mountains. The kids carried backpacks with whistles, lifesavers, a book, and an animal. Scott would love whacking aromatic monkey flowers with his hiking stick as he sang his invented songs. He spent hours at our camps trying to lasso a lizard. Once he took home a large banana slug to feed his lizard at home. It didn't survive the trip very well. Our short-haired dog, Daphne, would check the line of hikers from end to end, making sure we were all accounted for. She never had to carry anything. Lori and Scott loved swimming in one of the shallow lakes in Desolation Wilderness, which we called Bathtub Lake. The kids had pastel chalks and drawing materials, and from time to time, when we hiked in Big Sur Wilderness, they would sit with one of our architect friends who was always sketching with pen on paper. They watched admiringly as he finished a beautiful miniature nature piece, leaning against a rock. They were always inspired by Jean and drew many masterpieces. Jumping on rocks and wading in the Carmel River was a favorite pastime, always looking for crayfish or interesting bugs, watching water skaters, jumping off rocks, and laughing at Daphne as she waded into the creeks, growling and trying to dislodge a root that was still attached to the tree. Paul, my husband, would show us the stars at night and point out the constellations. We all lay on a large drop cloth without a tent, so we could look up at the moon and the stars, and we'd often sing favorite songs. What wonderful experiences for our lucky kids and their friends who often came on these trips. Later, as a student, Lori became the backpacking leader of her university dorm, and then as a parent, took her own children on hikes and explorations, playing in rivers, examining bugs, and climbing trees. These were wonderful days, and they made many memorable impressions on our children and our grandchildren. Thank you.
I'm Judy North, and my writing is called Jailbreak, Springtime for Ravens. The redwoods are our favorite environment for the magnificent raven. We had a pair living with us in our beautiful redwood forest. They built their sturdy nest high in a limb in the tallest tree next to the house. They were quite tame. I fed them pieces of bread and any leftover grains from the night before. Whenever I came out the door in the morning, they would fly down to land on the roof above me, asking if I had brought anything for them to eat. One morning, I was working in my studio when I heard a racket going on. I let it go for a while, but it became so insistent that I was forced to go out and look. There on the rail above the deck were two large adult ravens. On the deck below them was an adolescent. The adults were screaming at him. He was walking about nervously with his shoulders all hunched up around his neck. He would stop and look through the uprights forlornly. Meanwhile, the adults never stopped their frantic squawking. I understood these adults were his parents. This went on all day. I pulled up a chair and watched the whole drama unfold, utterly fascinated. Finally, in the late afternoon, he walked over to the stairs and hopped down. He hopped across the garden and climbed and fluttered up the bent trunk of the oak tree. He walked sideways across a limb, sat there, looking scared and depressed. The parents were more agitated as ever. Then he spread his wings, gained some energy, got aloft, and flew down to the lawn below. He looked surprised. He sat there for a few minutes, and with the parents still screaming at him, he took off and landed back on the limb. The parents had flown over to the limb. They had stopped their constant noise. He sidled over to them and opened his beak, demanding food like a baby. I was so grateful for having the front seat to this rite of passage. I laugh every time I think of it.
I'm June Stoddart. Mine is written in response to Go to the Limits of Your Longing by Rainier. And my first line is taken from that poem. Nearby is the country they call life. Embody me. A mystical image, the creator bidding bon voyage to every soon-to-be newborn baby. But not only babies, surely, more like every seed destined to be a plant, a tree, every creature, insect, animal. Go spend some time, make yourself a life on this wondrous, beautiful, generous planet I have made. Find yourself a place in the interwoven web of life. Find an ecosystem to sustain you and lean into the adventure. I shall share this with you, somewhere quite near, just out of sight. May you not lose me, for this adventure you are having, it's my adventure too. It strains towards evolution. It is not without danger. It teems with complexity. There is a lag time, especially for those humans, their lifetimes extending with the generations, their varying cultures absorbed in their earliest years of life. Not all their inventions good. The more complex, the more unexpected consequences get visited upon the earth. Now the feedback threatens to rage out of control. So a resting phase needs to descend upon the earth while there is yet time, so that the seas may recover, the glaciers build back, the wildlife re-establish. 1,000 ages in thy sight are like an evening gone. 1,000 ages of peace. That's what the earth needs now.
And now the congregation is invited to sing 2 verses of We Are Dancing Sarah's Circle.
We are dancing Sarah's circle. We are dancing Sarah's circle. We are dancing Sarah's circle. Sisters, brothers, all. We will all do our own naming. We will all do our own naming. We will all do our own naming. Sisters, brothers, all.
And I wrote together. In 1998, I met a stranger who was my roommate for a coach tour through France and Spain. Her name was Na from Vietnam. We had so much fun together on that trip. We have continued to keep in touch all these years by email and messenger. Each year when I taught my 3rd grade students a story in their reader about a Vietnamese family, I shared about having met Na. Each year, she used to send a letter to me to read to the children. She sent photos of lily pads and lotuses in bloom, so they got a connection to the family and the story they were reading. Eventually, Noah met a man from France and got married. She emailed me photos of their wedding held in Hanoi. Then they found a place to live in Aubagne, France, and I was lucky to be able to stay with them one summer. I saw some parts of France that Na and I hadn't seen on our coach tour years before. Every weekend, Olivier and Na drove to different villages to look for a cottage to buy. 2 abandoned stone houses on the same lot interested them. They got the owner's phone number from the neighbor. Na and Olivier were able to buy them both for a cheap price. Olivier, being a handyman, did some backbreaking restoration. I called him Superman when visiting there. They invited me to stay with them in the fairy tale cottages in the Dordogne area, where the beautiful river meandered a long way. I could not believe I got to experience life there, where we could visit an old castle and nearby ancient villages. Every Sunday at the weekly market, Na sold her Vietnamese rolls. Olivier had built a small oven on a cart to keep the food warm. I have a photo of Na standing under a pink umbrella behind the oven. These are memories of togetherness, shining goodness and kindness to me from my friend. Sometimes Na and I email our watercolors we do. We message on Facebook. We share pictures of her stone courtyard with lots of flowers. She and her husband live in one cottage, and the other they use as an Airbnb. I remember our trip in 1998, and I'm so happy she ended up with a nice husband and a magical place to live. Na has brought happiness to my life, which I love. She is vivacious and full of ideas to share when I visit her. What a loving surprise of togetherness after 23 years of our friendship, and now in 2025, 27 years.
I'm Bob Davis, and writing a story here on Let There Be Light. Today we are faced daily with possibilities of losing our electricity. Well, I can remember the time of my life when we didn't have electricity, and what we had was kerosene lamps. My mother married a man in Maine in 1939, and we moved in with his parents, and I was appalled that there was no switch on the wall to turn the lights on. And then I learned about the kerosene lamps. All you needed was a container to hold the kerosene, a wick to absorb the kerosene, and a glass chimney to keep the air from blowing it out, and a proverbial match to light it. Instead, occasionally the lamp would get too high, and a soot would permeate the house and line on all of the glass surfaces, and my mother and my sisters had to kind of clean it up. We went to bed, we climbed the stairways, and we lit our way with a kerosene lamp. My sister tried to read by lamplight, but I preferred to go to sleep. During the World War II, my stepfather went to work in the shipyard, and he taught me how to milk cows. So I learned how to light the lantern and go out in the barn, and on the way, my shadow was projected on the wall, and I felt I wasn't alone. And the light would help me see the way to the grain and the hay to feed the animals, and so I had the light of the candle to lead the way. Why do I say candle? I'm old, but not old.
All the while, I know it's there, hiding, then searching, then performing. That virus, I try to wash it away for 20 seconds, 23 times a day. When the pandemic is over, I may be too scared to emerge from the tiny, dark, and safe cocoon, too scared to even jump up and shout, "Hooray!" Lately, as I curl up with the TV, I think about what I should be saying or doing to help the world recover, but I wait as we shut down again and watch the sad faces. But who will listen to me, a nobody? Why should they? I could be wrong. I am tired now. I need to be free from worry and sadness and hiding. As I curl my body up, I begin to get sleepy and to relax. Finally, relax. Then I hear the train. The train whistle's coming for us on a cold night. We're at the station, standing with our bags and smiling, and the wind between the cars blows George's coat wide open as we roll our luggage to the sleepers. And there he is, I whisper, our second home. Both of us so happy to see our attendant. It's Andrew. We wait for a couple who lost their tickets. Where's my ticket? I can't find it. You have it, don't you? Then Andrew whisks my bags onto the car as the man says, waves this ticket and says, here it is, here it is. And Andrew laughs and says, oh, I thought you just might want to stay in California. Andrew helps us all maneuver the tight, curving stairway, and we're all laughing, and we're just so excited. Our room is clean and cheery, new blankets, soft lights, and chocolates on our pillows. So, you've been running all this time? George asked. Oh, yes. We never are totally shut down. We were busy. I have missed it so much. All the way to Chicago? That's right, George says. Looks like we'll be late. Yeah, weather problems, but we'll make it up. It's so good to see you, Andrew. What's good to see you, too. And I'm glad you're both looking well and you feel good. I'll be calling you for breakfast. We look around. Something's different, I say. Hey, look, the bed is bigger, isn't it? The top one, too. Oh, this is really nice. And we sit down and prop our pillows behind us. Oh, my, I can't believe this. I never thought we would be able to do this again. And George holds up the train schedule. 53 hours to Chicago. You ready? I am so ready. And I give him a big post-pandemic hug. All aboard, all aboard, all aboard.
We now have the opportunity to offer our gifts for the ministry of Northbrae as we sing two more verses of We Are Dancing Sarah's Circle.
Here we seek and find our history. Here we seek and find our history. Here we seek and find our history. Sisters, brothers, all. Every
I will be reading Vanessa Nguyen's poem, When the World Weeps. When the world weeps in despair, we will create our own vision of resilience and hope through the kindness bursting forth everywhere. When the forest has burnt to ashes, we will paint our own beauty to song and poetry and stories that we share. When communities have scattered through isolation, through Zoom we gather to strengthen each other, knowing friendship awaits us there. When this plague's death and illness are crushing my spirit, your prayers will not cease, as mine for you will still be here. For we will never be beyond love's reach. As steady as our own heartbeat, this love awaits us there.
This writing is by J. Miyazaki, and he has asked me to read it for him. His title is, What Can I Do? God is ever present in my arms, and God does not say, Where have you been? By my action, God reveals himself for herself. But what can I do so God is revealed? Yesterday, there was a TV news program about an author who wrote about the life of a Syrian family displaced by their civil war. The story told of one young mother with 5 children, the oldest of whom is a boy 12 years old. The video shows the mother at a Turkish orphanage asking them to take her 5 children as she is not able to care for them anymore. The 2-year-old is suggesting a kiss and climbs all over her older brother. So where is the father? The TV commentator asks. The young mother sorrowfully accounts that Syrian soldiers took him away and they had not heard from him since. The mother did not know if the father was alive or not, but feared for the worst. The next video shows a heavy discussion between the young mother and the 12-year-old son. The mother is talking about her decision to give her 5 kids away, and her son is trying to persuade her to keep them together with her. The mother says, "But I simply cannot care for them." The son says, "I will care for them." The mother replies, "But you are only 12. The son says, "We lost our father. We should not take away our mother from the younger ones also." Such a desperate situation for the family. And the story is repeated millions of times each day. And that could have been me. I might have been born as that Syrian boy, instead of into the Miyazaki family. Did I choose to be born into that family before I was conceived? Or was that by pure chance? Or did God choose me to be born where and when I was born? And here I write about the Syrian story in the comfort of a warm house. What can I do? I can feel sorry and be sympathetic toward them. I can send a small amount of money to organizations that are trying to help these families. But what can I do? Many spiritual leaders advise that we should act for ourselves, to treat and love ourselves. Then what? treat and love others as ourselves. Then what? Perhaps the late Oakland Raiders owner, Al Davis, said it best. Except, instead of just win, baby, our answer may be just keep doing, baby.
My name is Kim Zerlip, and I'm reading on behalf of my mother, Patty Zerlip. This is called Kindness. Kindness restores the balance after trauma. While smoke and dust still fill the air, someone is being gentle, hugging the tearful ones. The stranger who has open arms and an open heart does more to calm the frightened ones that seek shelter than the shelter itself. Kindness is the gentle touch on a dog's head just because he's there. It's the hands rubbing the tired shoulders of a hard-working friend. It's the kind words to a mother in the grocery store telling her her baby has beautiful eyes. Kindness is gifting someone with your smile just to say, I see you, I respect you, you matter in this world. Kindness is also not saying things that might bruise a vulnerable soul. And instead of pointing out someone's mistakes, it's better to say, I'm here if you need help. Kindness is like a soft breeze, a whisper, a shared moments between hearts. It rarely makes the news, but it should headline every day. It is the golden thread that holds us, the lifeline saying, despite the chaos, we are loved.
Anybody want a seventh inning stretch? Just stand up for a minute and stretch. Hi. I knew somebody would. Hi, I'm Peggy Newgarden, and unlike the program, I had permission to read something different. It's in response to the prayer by Mary Oliver. It's called My Rock. My dad had left out of the cab's back window, his body in my sister's arms, me in the front seat looking back. I saw his soul floating out the back window in the form of a river otter, swimming on a cloud. He looked so content. He loved being in the water, swimming in a boat or on a cruise ship. Such a joy to behold. How could I be sad? He knew it was his time to go and invited my sister Nancy and me to be with him as he readied to die. He was my rock, and it was time for him to take his leave. I became a believer in life after death. I wish he knew how much additional life he gave me and the rest of his 7 children with his parting gift of at least $20,000 for each to do as we wished. I knew I didn't want to blow this last gift, so I decided to buy a house, something single women weren't supposed to do in those days. Despite discouragement from family and friends, I did it my way. It was the second house the realtor showed me, a nondescript ranch house behind this beautiful, huge rock on a street with a grammar school a few doors up. Who needed a piece of the rock when I could have my own? I had heard of other big rocks in the area, and I would soon learn about them. Could they have as much spirit as this one, the one I would soon call mine? Unimaginable. I loved that rock, that old, huge rock infused with spirit would be mine to keep, care for, and eventually a place for my children of my extended family, my own children, and now my grandchildren to explore and play on. They would discover bravery and experience confidence as they climbed up and down all different ways the rock had to offer. It was also my place to sit and pray and feel the spirit of this, my rock, as I looked across the bay at my father's favorite city and felt tremendous gratitude. One could feel the spirit and how good life could be. What a blessing my life had become. My dad, my rock, was converted into a river otter as he swam out to play. Free at last from single parenting 8 children, 18 months to 15 years. What a blessing. And me, I had a new physical rock, a place to sit, meditate, pray, or view the bay as I realized, and still do, what a blessing my life of many chapters and colors had become. The end.
I'm Linda Rose, and the name of my poem is Prayer for Peace. It was written in response to Ukrainian prayer. Can peace exist? Can it exist for now, the future? Can we ever bring back what's done? Time and again, we humans do unto each and receive from each violence. Give peace a chance, the Beatles sang. And then the Kingston Trio harmonized. They're rioting in Africa, tra-la-la-la. Horror upon horror we face in person or from afar. In person, our life may be extinguished. From afar, we anguish over the atrocities, the tragedy of what is occurring. What can we each do to give peace a chance? Do we help the elders as they age by giving them a recess from isolation? Do we tutor the teenager learning to read? Do we provide vaccines in Africa as Bill Gates leads the charge? The charge of the Light Brigade, was that a massacre too? Our lives, moment by moment, are barraged with the latest attack on humanity. The good, the bad, the ugly are all in this mix. Blotting out the kindness given each day by humans who counter the daily infringements upon the sacredness of living. Let these kindnesses, the beliefs that peace and good do exist and are possible, spew forth, and extinguish the fires of hatred, violence, and greed. Can we love? Can we forgive each other's trespasses? Is hatred more powerful than love? Give peace a chance. Give love a chance. Never give up on human acts of kindness, of caring for those we encounter. So much to do.
Birth to death and death to birth now. Birth to death and death to birth now. Birth to death and death to birth now. Sisters, brothers, all. On and on the circles moving. On and on the circles moving. On and on the circles moving. Sisters, brothers, all.
My name is Sharon Waller, and I'm going to be reading something that I wrote in honor of Boots, Elizabeth's beloved dog. And Boots, when we met in the parlor, Boots came and stood and walked around the circle. This was in response to Rilke's poem, All Will Come Again. No yearning for an afterlife, no looking beyond, no belittling of death, but only longing for what belongs to us and serving earth, lest we remain unused. Longing for what belongs, an ode to Boots. What belongs? Right now, a room, a circle of beings, including an old dog who stands and watches, wondering what his job is now. He stands as sentry and witness to these dozen or so riders, he with red leash, and many days of running now past. Aging is a testament of long use of spine and hands, paws and tail, over months, over years. We humans also use mind, heart, spirit, availing ourselves for the most part of all that is possible or present. The mistakes, failures, regrets, using them too. They are not wasted, but contribute like greens in a compost bin to unseen growth. What is not used? I can actually imagine much. I think of all the possibilities and potential that I have not availed myself of. Yet Rilke and others would say, welcome all of it without looking back or beyond, without leaving out any color of the spectrum. The dog Boots does not consider this. He is just here. He is fully here, availing himself to me, reminding me and teaching me through his steady and compassionate gaze that we can never, never assume we are beyond use. As hospice chaplain, I was taught over and over again by those in their last days and moments of life. The body is still breathing. Eyes search and find a beloved face, then say, I love you with those eyes. At the end of life, people wait, wonder what this is about, voiced apologies to caregivers. I'm so sorry you have to take care of me. But this is what we do, connect and love. We sit with and care for others. We bury our dead. We bring our babies into the world, and we bring our dog with us so he can be close and attend as long as he possibly can. He acts as sentry, witness, holder of secrets none of us can comprehend. He is not yearning for an afterlife or looking beyond, only being steadfast to what belongs, offering his boundless being.
As Elizabeth mentioned earlier, Marie Ambers, a dear member of Right for Your Life, died this year in February. Jory Riera, another member of our group, sent a tribute to her family, which we'd like to share. It describes the difference Marie made in all of our lives. Jory said, "We got to know Marie through her writing, her vulnerability, honesty, wisdom, all shone through as she read her words aloud. Marie taught us about resilience. She lived with grief and loss, yes, but her heart remained open to gratitude and joy. Marie was a gift. Her presence, her generosity of spirit, the warmth of her love touched us deeply. We carry her in our hearts."
And now I'd like to share Marie's words as she faced her dying. She said, "I am becoming a steward, a death doula for my own exit. I am tending to my deep, thirsty, inner spiritual roots, reaching down, out, and all around me. Roots growing in 4 directions along with the sky and earth. In the 4 directions, along with above and below, I surrender. I can't say I welcome the end as much as I can say I open to a knowing that it hovers over me. If my intestinal lung disease unfolds in a typical way, I will become homebound as my body's need for oxygen outpaces what is available in a portable machine. If things play out this way, I want self-love to surround me as I experience the order and beauty I've created in my home. I want the books, pictures, and objects of my affection to smile at me. I want what remains after my next purge to remind me of the adventures I have lived and to savor the memories they hold. I want my navel to be connected to these things as I was once connected to my mother in utero, and experience the sustenance, nurturance, safety, floating presence of life that my life collected around me in the form of meaningful things I have chosen to keep while I simultaneously prepare for liftoff. In my front hallway hangs a plaque that reads, 'Home,' the story of who we are and a collection of the things we love. In my home, I want to softly hear monks chanting Hildegard of Bingen's early music so it becomes the continuous background from which I live my life. In a home created in gratitude for a life of wonder, sorrow, and adventure. Posted over my desk is Thich Nhat Hanh's calligraphy saying, 'Be a home for yourself.' And that is how I wish to show up during this time, opening my heart moment to what is, embracing the unknowns and all the knowns. Last week, I wrote and posted in my kitchen and bedroom, 'Whatever arises today, I show up with gratitude.' And now I add, be a home for yourself as you gracefully show yourself out the the door. Let us have a moment of silence.
My mother wrote this as a response to Jana Ruiz's poem, Come Home to the Ancient Faith. It's called Come Home, Child. The glowing place where sea meets sky seems to whisper, Come home, child. The wind brings those words softly, along with the secret of promise. Our common love and ancient prayers are hidden there beyond the clouds. I long to go there. If only the surface of the sea would turn to glass, I would walk there. As I get closer to that holy place, I would gather mountains, trees, and birds, and I would sing with them. We would merge with the clouds and rest forever in the light of belonging.
The culmination of the service is now in the singing of the song, Peace is Flowing Like a River. If you're able, please rise.
Peace is flowing like a river, flowing out of you and me, flowing out into the desert, setting all the captives free. Love is flowing like a river, flowing out of you and me, flowing out into the desert, setting all the captives free. Joy is flowing like a river, flowing out of you and me, flowing out into the desert, setting all the captives free. Hope is flowing like a river, flowing out of you and me, flowing out into the desert, setting all the captives free.
The service is now ended. We're called out into the world to live from that place of peace. You're invited to go out of the chapel across the breezeway into what we call the parlor. There will be food, there will be books. You can actually take these words with you as you leave the church today. I know it shifts the energy, but I'm going to invite us to applaud our way of expressing gratitude for the incredible words we've heard today. And for Elizabeth. Yes.